Hello, my dear friends. Good evening. Welcome to our channel. Welcome to Vero Speak. Today is Spanish Day. Today is the day that we have to practice Spanish grammar, to practice Spanish listening. Spanish is English listening comprehension at the same time. So that means that today our schedule is simply understand fundamentals of regular verbs in Spanish for present, past, and future tense, but also those students of English language, English as a second language, you guys can take advantage of this class to in order to improve your listening comprehension. Why? Well, because I think I tend to speak English in a very understandable way, so you can take advantage of it. I'm so sorry. I know that I'm so late. Remember, I have my students. I have my private students. I have, of course, the digital products that I have to take care of. And well, it's been such a stressful day. It's been such a stressful day, but here we are. So today, let's get started. Maybe today's class will be kind of like repetitive, not repetitive, but we'll try to do a little tour, to make a tour. Sorry, to make a little tour around the different regular verbs we studied at the very beginning of our transmissions. Um it was almost like 1 month ago or so, because during this month we've been kind of like very booked. So the last time we were talking about regular verbs in Spanish was practically 1 month ago, and we started out with the AR group. Maybe those who already watched the video, you guys spotted that we worked only with AR verbs. Like we worked with hablar, caminar, those regular verbs from the AR group. What we did was actually going over the different conjugation, or let's say the different changes to make it easier, the different changes that a conjugation goes through in order to express the personal pronoun that is which is working with the verbal tense, and also of course the root, the verb root. So 1 month ago, almost 1 month ago, we just worked with the AR group, in this case with the verb hablar, and the first slide, the first slide we studied together was this one, the present tense slide from like to study the verb hablar. So real quick, let's go on a quick review. So we have yo hablo, and the secret, like the core of this kind of lessons is getting those tricks, getting the tricks that we can learn in order to understand the patterns and simply follow them. In the case of yo, something that is important to take into account is that in present tense for AR verbs, and also like for the rest of groups, the other two groups, for the case of the personal pronoun yo, which means I, in present tense, the ending of the verb conjugation will always be o. I repeat, for regular verbs from the AR, ER, and IR group. Yo, the ending is O. Remember, O, O. In Spanish, we pronounce this O very rounded, O. Yo hablo. So we have the root. The root will be HABL because it comes from the verb hablar. So we simply drop the AR ending and we replace it by using the ending O. Yo hablo. That means I speak. So that will be not the same ending, but the same logic with the rest of the personal pronouns. Tú hablas. In this case, the ending is AS. This is going to be true for verbs like hablar, caminar, bailar, cantar, pasear, etc. So, tú hablas, tú caminas, tú bailas, tú cantas. So, in present tense, the ending for tú, which means you, will be as. Tú hablas. In the case of these four personal pronouns, él, ella, usted, eso, they will work together with just one conjugation type. In this case, the ending is formed by the vowel a that we pronounce a. Important to notice that all the vowels in Spanish, they will keep their sound unless we are dealing with the u, that sometimes it's kind of a silent letter. But in general, like 99% of cases, you will find that vowels in Spanish, they will keep their sound. Always. A is always a, always e, I, o, u. Forever. Well, not forever. Let's say forever. But no, that was a bad joke. It's a forever, like 99% of cases, not 100%, because remember, we have the case of the syllable formed by the U and E, like ge with G, G-U-E, like guerra, war, guerra, or the popular word que, which means would or even that. Que, Q-U-E, in those cases, under those circumstances only, you will find that the letter U, the vowel U, is totally silent. This is the only one case. That's a 1% I'm talking about. Okay, so but the rest of cases, vowels will keep their sound. So, él, he, ella, she, usted is the formal you, eso, it, habla. Habla will be speaks. So the ending, the core, as I mentioned, the core of today's lesson is understanding that the endings for regular verbs, this line that we have here, is what we have to work with. Understand that they are going to appear always when we work with AR verbs, and they are regular verbs. So for regular AR verbs, we will find these endings. So understanding, predicting, guessing the rest of conjugations, the conjugations for the rest of AR verbs is pretty easy. The last time we had this lesson, we used different examples. We used caminar, we used bailar. So for each conjugation, we also did the verb caminar. So yo hablo, I speak. Yo camino, I walk. Tú hablas, you speak. Tú caminas, you walk. Él, ella, usted, eso, habla. He, she, formal you, it, speaks. Él, ella, usted, eso, camina. He, she, formal you, it, walks. And so on. Okay? Nosotros, nosotras. Remembering that in Spanish, we have two versions of we. We, the men, and we, the women. Nosotros, masculine. Nosotras, feminine. Nosotros, nosotras, hablamos. We speak. So if we compare with the verb caminar, we can prove that it is true. Nosotros caminamos. So the ending successfully meets this rule, the patterns rule. Ustedes is you all. You guys speak. So ustedes hablan. The ending an is it's gonna work with ustedes, which is you all, and also with ellos, they masculine, and ellas, they feminine. Okay, and this will be for all regular verbs. Yeah, I want there to say that for all the verbs, because there are those irregular verbs that are such a mess, and you can actually predict the way they will behave. So never mind. For regular verbs, you will find that ustedes, ellos, and ellas, they will always use the ending an for AR group, for the AR group, for the ER, and the IR group as well. This is the present tense for regular verbs when it comes to the AR group. Now, what will happen with the past tense? The past tense in Spanish will actually follow this rule of the endings. Remember, and I can't highlight this. It's something that I have to highlight a lot. Is that we are working with regular verbs. This class is only for regular verbs. That means that these rules, when it comes to the ending, are going to be applied for regular verbs only. Okay? So here we keep on using the verb hablar, but this time in past tense. What kind of past tense is this? The simple past tense. I spoke, you spoke, etc. Now, let's see. If the personal pronoun is yo, the ending for past tense, for the AR verbs in past tense, regular verbs, will be a. And this is important because it's the a with a mark. This mark is something that in Spanish is called tilde. Sometimes we also call it acento, but it's not like, it's a misunderstanding of what an accent really is. Actually, this mark's name is actually tilde, because acento is it will be the stress. It will be the same as the stress in a syllable or in a letter in English. In Spanish, we call that acento, but the mark is tilde. So this tilde is very important because in this case we can mark quite redundant, but yeah, we can mark that this is past tense, because we can have the word hable without any mark, and the meaning is different. Okay. Hello, Dad. I'm here. Hi, Dad. Welcome. So in this case, I always say in this case when I'm teaching. So it's my it's my safe place. Okay. In this case, the mark is so important because this is a way that we have to identify that this is past tense. Okay. So yo hablé, I spoke. This ending, as you guys can see, is going to be working with the personal pronoun yo only. Because for the rest of personal pronouns, we have tú, which ending will be aste. So tú hablaste, you spoke, tú hablaste. And if we check in the case of caminar, Tú caminaste. So the case of hablar, yo caminé. As you can see, we are meeting these endings. Yo hablé, yo caminé. I spoke, I walked. Tú hablaste, you spoke. Tú caminaste, you walked. So, in the case of the third person, the singular third person, él, ella, usted, eso, respectively, she, sorry, he, she, the formal you, and it spoke, habló. So the ending that we have to keep in mind when it comes to this third person, the personal pronouns of the third person must be the ending o with an accent, with the mark. Okay, habló, and you'll be asking like, okay, wait a minute. If I don't, what happens if I don't write the mark? Actually, normally in like between Spanish speaking people, normally they are very, like, there are a lot of people which they simply skip this mark. So, but because of the context, according to the context, or guided by simply like we know the word, so we understand the word. But there are moments where if you miss the mark, that will be quite difficult to understand if the context is not clear enough. Okay, so I prefer, as a teacher, I prefer that you get used to use the marks, especially when it comes to the verbal tenses. Okay, why? Because if you simply say hablo without any marks, and of course if you don't use the personal pronoun, because this is something that we inherited from Latin, we can simply skip the personal pronoun because the conjugation itself shows who are we talking about, right? So, but in the case of hablo, if you don't put the mark, and if you don't write the personal pronoun, you don't write the mark, it will say this. It will say hablo. So I can perfectly understand that what you mean is I speak. But if you meant to say she spoke, so you need the mark. Okay, so did you see the difference? Hablo without the mark is I speak. But with the mark, she, he, or formal you or it spoke. So that's why in some context, this mark is so important. Okay. The case of nosotros, nosotras, we have the ending amos. So as you can see, this is going to be the same for present and past tense for AR regular verbs. Okay. So the ending will be the same, basically. And this is what I was talking to you guys about. Ustedes, ellos, ellas hablan with the ending an. Is gonna stay because, well, this is the ending they commonly use. So when it comes to present tense and past tense, if it's an AR verb and it is regular, ustedes, ellos, ellas will keep the same ending. So you're halfway there. You're halfway there. Now let's see the case of future tense. Oh, what did I do? This one was present tense. This was past tense. And now voila, future tense. Okay, here we go. When it comes to the future tense, once again, we have endings to guide our path, to guide our path in life. And once again, we find the ending a with a mark. So what's happening? Why are we having the same ending from a past tense conjugation? No worries. Future tense, the conjugations in future tense, they have their own rule. We don't drop. Remember in those previous cases, past tense and present tense, we dropped. We wiped out the ending, right? Instead of saying hablar, we skip it. We dropped AR and we stood with HABL and we put different things, okay? Like a puzzle. But in the case of future tense in Spanish, we won't drop any letters, okay? No letters are going to be dropped in this future tense, okay? No letters will be harmed in this verbal tense. What are we going to do? We will add the ending to the full verb. Before, we worked with a root that was kind of like modified. But this time, as you can see, in all the conjugations, all the way, we have hablar. The verb is hablar. But all the way through, we have hablar. We simply added the endings. Hablaré. I will speak. Tú hablarás. You will speak. Él, ella, usted, eso hablará. He, she, formal you, it will speak. And so on. So you can basically spot, you can basically identify the future tense in Spanish by the presence of this letter, the letter R, because we kept the full verb and we simply added the ending. Okay? That's why those conjugations look like this. That's why. This is the future tense. Once again, I can't highlight this enough. This rule is going to be true for AR verbs, AR regular verbs. Okay? There will be some exceptions. Maybe in the case of irregular verbs, the ending will be the same, but the root normally is modified. So I will stick with the fact that this is for regular verbs. Okay, I wanted to go over what we actually saw in the previous video in order to brush it up a little bit. This was the practice that I left for you guys. So let's correct this, or let's fill in the blanks for you to see it. So for present tense, let me adjust this a little bit to me. There was a lot, but okay, there was too much, but here we go. So yo hablar con mi profesora todos los días. Yo hablar con mi profesora todos los días, and it must be in present tense. Remember, for yo, yo is the same. We have to use the ending o. So yo hablo. Yo hablo con mi profesora todos los días. I talk to my teacher every day. Pasado, past tense. Ayer, yesterday. And the verb is visitar. As you can guess, this is visit. Yesterday, you visited the museum with your friends. So we have that tú ending for past tense for an AR verb. Tú visitaste. Ayer, tú visitaste el museo con tus amigos. Yesterday, you visited the museum with your friends. Now, future tense. Remember, in this case, we don't have to drop any letters. So we can simply add, like a topping, we can add the ending to the full verb, caminar. So, nosotros caminaremos por el parque mañana. We will walk around the park tomorrow. We will walk through the park tomorrow. It depends. It depends on the context. So it can be around, it can be through. Like if you want to use through, and this is for the English students, if you use through is because you will a go through a place in order to get another place. In this case, in Spanish, it is expressed using por. Okay, present tense. Ellos estudiar para el examen. So remember, ellos, which is they, the masculine they will always have the an ending for present tense. Ellos estudian para el examen. They study for the test, or they are studying for the test. And lastly, we have in past tense, ella preparar. Preparar is prepare or make. In this context, since she is preparing a cake, a delicious cake, we can use the verb make as well. But in order to avoid some confusions, we'll say ella preparó, because it's past tense, ella preparó una torta deliciosa el domingo pasado. She prepared a delicious cake last Sunday. Okay, this is how your homework have to look like. It has to look like, okay? This is how it must look like. Those are the answers. So that was the review. These are the solutions of your homework, the homework you had from 1 month ago. So sorry. And now let's see the ER group. So, but maybe you're asking, like, but Veronica, please, you took practically the full class, just like a refreshing, brushing up all these things that you have in another video. Yeah, you're right. But maybe this is the first time you are watching a live stream addressed to Spanish students. So I wanted to be sure, I wanted to make sure that everything is crystal clear for you as a student of the Spanish language. And now, in this case, we will start with ER group. So I didn't leave it behind. No, I didn't. But I'm very confident in this question of like explaining ER and IR at the very end, because they are the same. So they are the same. So we're practically like covering both in just one slide. How is that like? So we have the ER group, and we have gotten the example with the verb comer, which is eat. And take a look at it. Take a look at the screen very well, and you'll spot the endings. Okay, yo como, the ending is o. Tú comes, the ending is es. Now the ending is e. Well, of course, the pronunciation will be e. So o, es, e, hemos, en. Those are the endings, right? And, well, let's be fair. In this case, we are in present tense. So let's jump to the present tense. Pay attention to this heading. So ER group. Now let's jump to the IR group in present tense. So there was just one change. What was the change? let's jump back. The change was simply in nosotros. For example, let's go over it. Yo como, tú comes, él come, nosotros comemos, ustedes comen, ellos, ellas comen. That's it. Now, let's jump to the IR. In this case, we have the verb vivir, to live. Yo vivo, tú vives, like tú comes, okay, check. Él vive, like él come, so same ending. Well, unfortunately, nosotros, nosotras vivimos instead of vivemos. No, es vivimos. So, in the case of ER was comemos. And here, over there, the ending was hemos. But here is imos. It's the only one which is different. But the rest, as we can see, is en as well as comen. Ustedes comen, ustedes viven. Ellos, ellas comen, ellos, ellas viven. So, once again, you're halfway there. You're halfway there with the present, with regular verbs when it comes to the ER and the IR group. It's so easy. And this is not because I'm native speaker of Spanish native speaker. No. Because I had a hard time learning irregular verbs when I was a little girl as well. So it is it is a torture for everyone. Here, nobody's safe. So in this group, in these groups, ER and IR for present tense, now we can confirm that at least 99% is the same. The only one, well, no, 99 is this is not fair. 90% of cases are the same. There's only one which is different, and that is nosotros, nosotras. Nosotros comemos, nosotros vivimos. Okay? So this pattern, let's jump back to the present tense, ER. This pattern is going to be used for the rest of ER verbs. Once again, ER regular verbs in present tense. Got it? Okay. Let's continue. For the past tense. Okay, but is it true that we'll have the same patterns for both groups, like ER, IR, and the three verbal tenses? Is that true? Let's see. So here we have the ending E. E for yo. Yo comí. I ate. Yo comí. Tú comiste. Él comió. Nosotros comimos. Ustedes comieron. Ellos comieron. Okay, so for for practical purposes, I'm reading just the first one in the list when it comes to several personal pronouns, just for a practical for just for a sense of like the speed, not for anything like that or so. Just to explain it quicker. So these are the endings. Let's see. Y, iste, yo, imos, hieron, hieron. Okay? Let's jump to the IR group in past tense. Let's see. IR group in past tense. Endings. Pay attention to the endings. Yo viví. Remember, we're working with the verb live, vivir. Yo viví. Tú viviste. Okay. So, yo viví. I lived. Yo comí. I ate. Okay. Tú viviste. You lived. Tú comiste. You ate. Okay. This is the same so far. Él, ella vivió. He, she lived. Él, ella comió. He, she ate. Once again, it's the same. Now let's see. Nosotros, nosotras. We vivimos. We lived. Nosotros, nosotras comimos. Okay, well, my surprise is my surprise is for real because I thought that it was different. I thought that it was different in the case of past tense as well. It was a lapsus. Yeah, yeah. I'm honestly surprised. Sorry. Sorry, I've been teaching English for so longer than Spanish. Some details, very like some dark details sometimes for me are a surprise, like, oh really? I didn't expect that. Okay, so nosotros, nosotras vivimos, we lived, but we also ate. So nosotros, nosotras comimos. It's the same ending. And so that will be the same for ustedes, ellos, ellas. Ustedes vivieron, you guys lived. Ustedes comieron, you guys ate, and so on. So let's summarize. ER, IR group in present tense will have the same endings, but nosotros will be different. So that's the only one we have to pay attention to. When it comes to past tense, ER, IR group, they use the same endings. The same. So we proved it here. Now let's see what will happen with the future tense. Let's start out with ER group. Same logic. We take the full verb. We will not cut any part of the verb, so we will take it in full. And we add the ending. What's the ending? Okay, yo comeré. Same as yo hablaré, okay. And let's see the case of vivir. Yo viviré. If you have ever listened to Celia Cruz, the music of Celia Cruz, maybe you know this song. So it's the same ending. So we in the three groups for future tense, we keep the full verb and we simply add the ending. Yo comeré. Tú comerás. Él comerá. Nosotros comeremos. Ustedes comerán. Ellos, ellas comerán. Let's check the previous one, the AR group, just real quick. Hablar. Yo hablaré, okay? Keep, while I'm pronouncing the conjugations for the AR verb, hablar in future tense, please keep following the endings. In this case, future tense for hablar, for comer, sorry. And you will be checking. Yo hablaré, same. Tú hablarás, same. Él hablará, same. Nosotros hablaremos, same. Ustedes, ellos, ellas hablarán, same. Once again, you're halfway there. You're halfway there. It is quite easy. Now, we proved that AR, ER, and IR group will keep the same endings for future tense. Don't believe me? Don't believe me now? You don't trust me? Let's see. IR group in future tense. Yo viviré, tú vivirás, él, ella vivirá, nosotros viviremos, ustedes vivirán, ellos, ellas vivirán. Let's control. Let's double check just in case, because remember, I've been teaching Spanish just for, I don't know, since 2021. No, it's very, very few time. It's a very short time. Let's see if I didn't miss anything. Yo hablaré. Yo comeré. Yo viviré. The same. Tú hablarás. Tú comerás. Tú vivirás. Check. Él hablará. Él comerá. Él vivirá. Great. Nosotros hablaremos. Nosotros comeremos. Nosotros viviremos. Great. Ustedes and therefore, ellos and ellas. So we will use just ustedes to check because they are the same. They use the same endings always. So ustedes hablarán. Ustedes comerán. Ustedes vivirán. For future tense, they are using the same. So, summarizing, this was regular verbs in Spanish in present, past, and future tense. I must let you guys know that this past tense that we studied here is not the only one kind of past tense that we have in Spanish. Not at all. Okay? This is equivalent to the past simple tense in English. For a French-speaking people, that will be the equivalent to the passé composé. Okay? This is not the only one kind of past we have in Spanish, but we do have like only one kind of simple present, one kind of simple future, okay? Which are those that we presented today, that we explained to you guys today. So what's next? Now that we already, that we fully covered the regular verbs and the three main verbal tenses, because they are not the only one verbal tenses. They're not the only verbal tenses we use in Spanish, but the main verbal tenses that you can use to start communicating in Spanish. So the next step will be irregular verbs. I'm so sorry. It is difficult even for me because I don't know all irregular verbs, of course, but we have to give it a shot. Like we have to try. We have to organize a full lesson that will be the next week, because remember on Tuesdays we are covering basic grammar, Spanish basic grammar. On Thursday, what we will do will be kind of a little bit more difficult. I think we have COD and COI. Yeah, we have a direct object pronoun and indirect object pronoun in Spanish. So for those who probably are already going further in Spanish because you guys have been studying much more, please don't miss Thursday class, because I'm sure you're still struggling with direct and indirect object pronouns in Spanish, because it is quite different from Spanish, from English, not too different from French. Okay? Summarizing once again, these are the practices. The two we have the 2 slides of practice. In this case, this is the practice for regular ER verbs. You can see it. You can take a screenshot, or if you're watching this this live stream. I don't know why I always mix up live streaming. If you're watching this live stream later, so you can simply pause the video and then you do your homework. This is for ER verbs, regular ER verbs in Spanish. And the homework for regular IR verbs in Spanish is this one. So, that was all for today. That was all about regular verbs in Spanish. So hope to see you on Thursday. For those who are in kind of like an intermediate level, those who are beginners in Spanish but want to see like how is that like the case of the direct and indirect object pronouns, you are welcome, of course. And also for those who already speak Spanish fluently, but still have some doubts, still are not feeling so confident when it comes to using, for example, constructions like I like it, I like them, or for example, I don't know, yeah, those kind of structures that in Spanish are totally backwards. Um, eh, totally different from English. So you are welcome as well. So hope to see you on Thursday with Spanish. But tomorrow is Wednesday. We'll be studying intermediate level content for English. Okay, we'll come back with English. And remember, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we're studying English. Tuesday and Thursday, we're studying Spanish. Spanish, English from Spanish, and Spanish from English. So here, this is a valuable content for everybody. And remember, if you want to have more Spanish materials to study with, so you can download the the ebook that we prepared. This is an ebook we edited some years ago, but we finally made it to post it to make it available for you guys. So it consists in just 66 pages. So you can go over everything about a basic, the pronunciation, of course, based on the English pronunciation. So you can take the guide. Also, you can find basic greetings in Spanish. You can also check the differences between bien, bueno, mucho, muy. And I prepared with all my love different examples of conversations, so you can have a look at it. You can practice with it. You can translate. Of course, I didn't add the translations for you to feel pushed to translate by yourself. And this way you can practice your translating skills, which are absolutely important when we are studying a new language. So, hope to see you tomorrow. I won't be here so, so longer. I will stop sharing, and we'll hope to see you tomorrow to study English here in Vero Speak. Take care, practice your English, practice your Spanish as well, and well, have a good night. Take care. Bye.